You heard that right. 2 days. That's all this state has to survive a prolonged financial crisis. It's not a rumor. It's an official warning from New Jersey's own state auditor. And they're not alone. Many other states are standing at the edge of collapse. Public debt ballooning, housing markets crashing, insurance costs skyrocketing, and retirees being pushed out of the very homes they've lived in for 30 years. In today's video, I'll show you the 5 U.S. states most at risk of collapsing first if America truly enters a recession. With real evidence, hard numbers, and the everyday stories unfolding right now. If you're living in one of these states, or thinking about buying a home, retiring, or moving there, watch every second carefully. Because what you're about to hear could determine your financial future for the next 10 years. 5. New Jersey, the state on the brink of total financial breakdown. In October 2025, the Pew Charitable Trusts released a report that shook the markets. If the U.S. economy were to fall into recession, New Jersey's emergency reserve could only keep the state running for 2 days. Yes, just 2 days. In a nation where other states maintain weeks or even months of reserve funds, that number from New Jersey is practically a confession. We have nothing left to fight with. So what pushed a state once considered stable and wealthy to the edge of such a rapid collapse? Moody's, the world's largest credit rating agency, has issued a stark warning. New Jersey ranks among the highest-risk states in America, burdened by massive public debt, a severely underfunded pension system, and tax revenues that are highly vulnerable to any economic shock. According to Moody's 2025 credit report, the state's total public debt has surpassed $220 billion. Just imagine, even a newborn in New Jersey already owes more than $44,000 on paper. For retirees living on fixed incomes, that number is almost unimaginable. The pension system, once the lifeline for hundreds of thousands of seniors, is now only 34.7% funded. That means tens of thousands of teachers, police officers, and healthcare workers may soon face pension shortfalls within just a few years. A quiet social crisis is spreading, yet few are talking about it. Meanwhile, the cost of living in New Jersey has far outpaced residents' ability to keep up, especially for elderly homeowners with no active income. The average property tax bill in the state has now reached $9,800 per year, the highest in the nation. For many, that tax bill is nearly equal to their entire annual pension. It's forcing once stable families to make painful decisions, sell their homes, leave the state, or fall into financial distress. The housing bubble burst in New Jersey is no longer a prediction. It's a reality. The state now has the second highest foreclosure rate in the entire nation. In Atlantic City, 1 out of every 200 homes is being repossessed, a red alert number showing that household debt pressure has pushed thousands past the point of control. The commercial real estate market isn't faring any better. In Newark and Jersey City, the state's 2 biggest financial hubs, over 19.4% of office spaces sit vacant, and dozens of buildings are facing foreclosure due to unpaid loans. When both residential and commercial real estate crash at the same time, it's no longer a crisis, it's a collapse. But this story isn't just about numbers. Linda, 67, a retired teacher from Bergen County, shared through tears, "I bought this house with my husband in 1985. We thought it would be our forever home. But now I pay nearly $10,000 a year in property taxes. My husband is gone, and my pension has been cut. I don't know how to manage anymore. Every month, I have to choose between my blood pressure medication and paying property taxes." That's not just Linda's story. It's the reality for thousands of families across New Jersey. People who devoted their lives to this state are now becoming its first victims as the financial system crumbles. New Jersey is reaching its breaking point, a state where finances can no longer bend, pensions teeter on collapse, real estate keeps plunging, taxes suffocate families, and seniors are losing their sense of direction. When America officially enters recession, this could be the first state to fall. So the question for you is this: if you live in New Jersey or have loved ones there, can you feel it too? Do you believe this state can recover? Or has the collapse already begun, only now showing itself for what it truly is? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up with critical updates about the U.S. housing market, where what's happening in New Jersey could soon become a snapshot of America's future. 4. California, the giant that's starting to tremble. On October 10, 2025, Governor Gavin Newsom officially confirmed a shocking figure. California is facing a $12 billion budget shortfall, just 1 year after declaring a record surplus. But what sent chills down the spines of financial analysts wasn't the number itself. It was the phrase he used. If state revenues drop another 5%, we'll have to cut core services and dip into welfare funds. With more than 39 million residents and an economy that would rank as the fourth largest in the world if it were a country, California was once the ultimate symbol of the modern American dream. But now, that dream is cracking, piece by piece, and the first to feel it are elderly homeowners who spent a lifetime building stability and security. Let's start with housing, the foundation of safety. As of June 2025, to afford a mid-tier home in California, a household needs an annual income of around $237,000, while the median income sits at just $96,500. That 2.5x gap is unimaginable for most retirees, and if you already own a home, you're still not safe. Because the cost of ownership is skyrocketing, averaging $5,900 a month just for mortgage payments, not including property taxes, insurance, or maintenance. With over 181,000 homeless people, California is not only the most expensive state to live in, it's also the easiest one to fall out of the middle class. If you've been living on a fixed income, just one tax hike, an unexpected medical bill, or a sudden insurance increase could be enough to force you to sell your home. And in a market where office vacancy rates have hit 8% in San Francisco and 22% in Los Angeles, who's going to buy that home? California's economy once soared on the engines of technology, entertainment, and venture capital. But over the past 2 years, those engines have begun to stall. Silicon Valley has seen revenues drop 21%, dragged down by a stagnant financial market and a sharp decline in venture funding. Stocks are tumbling, startups are shutting down, and as a result, corporate tax revenues are shrinking, deepening the state's deficit. Then there are the natural disasters, something Californians know all too well, but that never comes cheap. Wildfires in Sonoma, floods in the Central Valley, and widespread droughts across the state have driven emergency response costs up 18% in 2024 alone. And that doesn't even account for the long-term damage to infrastructure, insurance systems, and local communities. Against this backdrop, Governor Newsom admitted, "We've lost up to $16 billion in revenue due to slowing growth, and federal tax policy is no longer helping us." A government once proud of its social spending is now scrambling to make cuts line by line. So what happens to seniors, retirees, and homeowners? They're the first and hardest to feel the pain. Because when the state budget runs dry, healthcare, public safety, and transportation programs are the first to be trimmed. And when that happens, the very people who've paid taxes all their lives become the ones left behind. The story of Michael, 72, from Sacramento, says it all. I've lived here since 1980. Things used to be stable. Now I'm paying over $8,000 a month just to cover living expenses, and I'm dipping into my last savings. If things get any worse, I'll have to leave California, the place that used to be my home. California isn't collapsing in a single earthquake. It's cracking slowly. Through every home, every budget, every dream of those who once believed they were safe. A state that once symbolized prosperity now faces an existential choice: rebuild completely, or witness the largest exodus in its history. 3. Nevada, the casino of the American dream, and its financial nightmare. In July 2025, a short headline from Atom sent chills through retirees nationwide. Nevada officially became the state with the highest foreclosure rate in America. For every 2,326 homes, one has entered the foreclosure process. But that number isn't just a statistic. It's a warning sign. A quiet wave of asset collapse is sweeping through what was once seen as the modern retirement paradise. Nevada's downfall didn't come from one disaster. It's unfolding like a line of dominoes, and the first piece to fall is trust. Tourism, the state's economic lifeblood, is choking. Las Vegas, once fueled by the constant pulse of tourists, conventions, shows, and casinos, is now slowing down. After 3 consecutive weak quarters, tourism revenue has fallen over 7%, leaving the state's budget short by nearly $200 million in just the first half of 2025. Governor Joe Lombardo admitted, "We need to make cuts, even if it's not pleasant." But for retirees, those living on fixed monthly incomes, that's more than a financial statement. It's a warning. Public services are shrinking inch by inch, from healthcare to neighborhood safety. Housing. The silent bubble has burst. Imagine living in a home you've owned for nearly a decade. You've always believed its value would keep rising. But then one morning, the house next door is foreclosed. Then the one across the street. The foreclosure rate in Las Vegas is now 1 in every 1,114 homes, the highest in the nation. Home prices have officially dropped 2.2%, but experts warn the real figure could reach 10–12% in the coming year. It's not just mortgage holders who are panicking. Fully paid-off homeowners, most of them retirees, are watching their property values freefall. That's not just lost wealth. That's pensions evaporating. That's security crumbling. Cost of living, fire on top of fire. While assets collapse, living expenses are surging. According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, food prices in Nevada are 12% higher than the national average, and electricity costs have jumped nearly 15% over the past 18 months. Retirees living on fixed incomes are being squeezed between 2 crushing forces: falling value and rising prices. Home insurance. The safety net is tearing apart. With the state's dry climate and wildfire risks, home insurance premiums in Nevada have climbed 28% in just 2 years. Some insurance companies have even stopped issuing new policies in Clark County. Even if you manage to keep your home, the cost to protect it is now beyond reach for many. Trust, collapsing fast. In early 2024, Governor Joe Lombardo declared, "Nevada will not repeat the past. We're the fastest recovering state post-COVID." But today, with budget deficits, vacant homes, and a spike in petty crime across urban areas, that promise is being strangled by reality. Las Vegas is no longer a symbol of prosperity. It has become a symbol of disillusionment, a giant roulette wheel where every spin makes residents wonder, will I still have my home tomorrow? Will taxes go up next week? Will local healthcare services be cut again next month? Nevada was once where people came to start over. Now, it's where many seniors are asking themselves, will I have to leave everything behind and start over again at 60? If you're living in Nevada or thinking of moving there, think carefully. Share your perspective in the comments. What are you experiencing, and what do you think lies ahead? And don't forget to like and subscribe, because in the next episode, we're heading to a state that was once the golden dream, but now faces the largest budget deficit in its history. California. 2. Florida, the retirement paradise. Turning into a financial nightmare. They used to call Florida the Sunshine State, the land of warmth, leisure, and freedom. But by September 2025, a report from Newsweek used a very different phrase: the housing time bomb. After the massive post-pandemic migration, Florida, once seen as the ultimate retirement destination, has now landed on the list of America's biggest foreclosure hot zones. According to Adams' July 2025 data, about 1 in every 2,320 homes in Florida has entered foreclosure, the second highest rate in the nation. The housing frenzy between 2020 and 2022 pushed Florida home prices to record highs. But the bubble couldn't expand forever, and now it's deflating faster than anyone expected. 9 of the 15 most overvalued markets in the U.S. are in Florida, according to CBS 12. Cities like Tampa, Cape Coral, and North Port, where home prices exceed real value by 30 to 40%. A severe correction is now inevitable. But the most devastating blow came from above, the sky itself. Hurricane Ian in 2022 caused over $112 billion in damages and shattered the confidence of Florida's home insurance industry. By mid-2025, more than 10 insurance companies, including Farmers and ALA, had pulled out of the state. Homeowners now pay an average of over $6,000 per year for insurance, 3 times the national average. For retirees living on fixed pensions, this is a financial shock few can endure. It doesn't stop there. Homeowners associations, or HOAs, across Florida have raised fees by 15 to 25% in just 1 year to cover rising insurance and maintenance costs. With a median household income of only $67,900 and the average home price now around $417,000 at 7% mortgage rates, a family needs to earn nearly $120,000 a year just to qualify for a loan. The gap between reality and expectation has frozen the market. Transactions are plummeting, and confidence is fading fast. Beyond housing, Florida's leading industry, tourism, is losing steam. Once the state's money-printing machine, it saw a 6% drop in visitors in 2024, with hotel occupancy rates in Orlando, Tampa, and Miami falling to their lowest levels since 2017. As companies slash travel and event budgets, tens of thousands of service workers, especially those over 50, working part-time after retirement, have lost their jobs. Florida also ranks among the top states in America for residents aged 65 and older. Yet ironically, senior services are shrinking at an alarming pace. Hundreds of nursing homes have shut down, unable to survive skyrocketing costs for insurance, utilities, and staffing. According to the New York Post, many facilities have been forced to stop accepting new patients because they can no longer guarantee financial stability. One story stands out: Mr. David Schroeder Sr., 74, from Melbourne, Florida. After retiring, he thought he was safe. The house was paid off, and his family visited from time to time. But then, insurance tripled, HOA fees climbed, and his insurer refused to renew coverage. He told CF Public, "I can't keep paying $7,200 a year just for the illusion of safety. I've chosen to self-insure because I have no other choice." Mr. David's story has become typical of thousands of seniors in Florida. People who still own valuable property but can no longer afford to keep it. And now, they're beginning to leave. A wave of reverse migration is unfolding. Thousands of older homeowners are selling their properties and moving to more affordable states, Tennessee, North Carolina, even Pennsylvania, places that, just a few years ago, were considered temporary stops, but are now becoming long-term retirement havens. For one simple reason: safety and affordability. Florida, once the retirement dream of millions of Americans, is now turning into a harsh test of financial endurance. If you're living here or planning to move, it's time to think twice. Do you feel that insurance costs, taxes, healthcare, and daily living expenses are becoming unbearable? Have you considered leaving the Sunshine State? Share your story in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow the next states on this growing crisis list. Florida was once the dream, but now it's becoming a nightmare. One that's slowly taking shape. 1. Maryland. The federal parasite state, the dark side of a new recession. In October 2025, while many Americans were still worried about inflation and soaring home prices, another quiet earthquake began shaking Washington, D.C. More than 4,000 federal employees were officially laid off during the first week of the government shutdown. Projections warned that number could soon exceed 10,000 if the budget stalemate wasn't resolved. Those figures aren't just cold statistics. They're a direct hit to Maryland, the state often called the political satellite of the capital, home to the highest concentration of federal workers in the country. In Montgomery County, Prince George's, and especially along the corridor between D.C. and Baltimore, tens of thousands of families depend on federal spending, from government pensions to subcontracting to support services. When agencies freeze hiring, cut contracts, and scale back operations, Maryland doesn't just catch a cold, it begins to weaken from within. They call Maryland the federal dependency state, a state that lives and breathes by Washington's budget. With more than 28,000 federal jobs in 2025 alone, it's the capital's largest satellite economy. But when agencies slash spending and the federal budget locks up, Maryland doesn't just sneeze, it goes into full systemic shock. In August 2025, a report from WYPR issued a chilling warning. If Congress cuts just 10% of federal spending, Maryland would immediately lose 3% of its GDP. That means tens of thousands of families, many of them retired civil servants, would see their income vanish, while healthcare and infrastructure deteriorate, and the cost of living keeps climbing day by day. Baltimore, the industrial and commercial heart of Maryland, is losing its rhythm. Office vacancy rates have climbed above 22%, the highest in a decade. Rental prices have fallen below $19 per square foot, a historic low. Even worse, the Montgomery County corridor, once the pride of Maryland's biotech sector, is now facing a wave of layoffs, as venture capital investment has evaporated by nearly 40% year over year. The housing market isn't doing any better. The median home price is around $430,000, far out of reach for a median household income of $98,400. With mortgage rates hovering near 7%, thousands of families are spending more than 40% of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. Foreclosures have jumped 29% in 1 year, with more than 95 homes repossessed in Baltimore alone, one of the highest figures in the nation. But that's only the surface. Beneath it, the state's public finance system is shaking. Moody's has downgraded Maryland's credit outlook, citing its heavy dependence on federal activity. The reserve fund stands at just $2.9 billion, a sum that could be drained in less than a year if a deep recession hits. Meanwhile, unfunded pension liabilities have reached nearly $25 billion, a ticking time bomb that threatens the state's budget in the coming decade. Retirees, once the backbone of Maryland's stability, are now caught in a financial squeeze. They face soaring living costs, tightening healthcare coverage, and growing fears that state benefits may soon fall short of providing a livable income. With inflation still stubborn, interest rates still high, and budget cuts spreading across departments, Maryland, once seen as the perfect place to retire, is losing its foundation of security. Maryland isn't collapsing from a single storm, but from a slow, powerful undercurrent steadily eroding its supposed prosperity. As the pillars of its economy, federal funding, government jobs, and high-tech industries begin to crack, the illusion of stability is fading fast. If you live in Maryland, do you feel your household budget being squeezed tighter every month? Are home prices, insurance, and taxes still within reach? Share your experience in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, because in the next episode, we'll reveal which state might be the next victim of this expanding economic downturn. Home prices are deflating. Taxes, insurance, and living costs keep climbing. Many states once called paradise are now turning into financial minefields. But the most dangerous part? Most people still don't realize it's happening. If you're retired, living on a fixed income, or holding property in states like New Jersey, Florida, or California, this is not the time to dream. It's the time to wake up. Check your family finances, reevaluate where you live. Is it truly economically safe? And if it's not, make your move before it's too late. Which state do you think will collapse next? Are you already feeling these changes where you live? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might help thousands of others avoid the same mistake. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because in the next video, we'll reveal the hidden states that are quietly surviving the recession. Protecting your assets means protecting your peace of mind. Don't wait for the crash to start looking for a way out.